show. I'm sorry, guys, pero aquí estamos en vivo con ustedes, Ruby La Cuachenta. Hello, hello, hello. Tag a friend, invite a friend. We're about to start a show, guys, and tonight is a very special show, something very different than what we normally do. Tonight, I want to speak about the LGBT community. There was an incident that occurred in Colorado where an individual entered a bar and he did a shooting and he ended up killing five people and injuring a lot of other people, guys. But I want to talk about a topic about the LGBT community where I saw Mr. John Allen, and I mentioned his name because he put it as public, right? Hello to everyone that's tuning in. Mr. Allen is very upset that the VA, the veterans, are supporting the LGBT community. Estoy muy bien, estoy muy bien. Mr. Allen is upset that the LGBT, that the VA, the veterans, are supporting the LGBT community, the Veterans Affairs. He's upset, guys. And I don't know if he doesn't understand or he doesn't comprehend, but the Veterans Affairs is supporting the LGBT community because the individual who stopped and interfered with the shooter, right, and saved a lot of lives, is part of the community of the LGBT. And of course, he got the recognition as a veteran himself that he is. Mr. Allen got very offended, and we all know that he is homophobic and he dislikes the gay community. And to me, it's like, we're 2022. Why continue with the hate, with the discrimination? At the end of the day, I believe that it's all about unity. It doesn't matter whether you're lesbian, straight, bisexual, transgender, whatever you want to define yourself as. At the end of the day, we all have our principles, our morals, our value, and there should be respect amongst each other for whatever your sexual preference is. And me pongo a pensar yo que Mr. Allen is out there trying to discredit individuals. Well, let me remind you that if it wasn't for a homosexual, myself, you would have never gotten recognized in the city of Mercedes. Because of me, you got recognized. I'm the one who did the public, I guess, the legwork when I contacted Dago, the ex-chief of police in Mercedes, and the city manager for you to get recognized. And it came from somebody who loves men, right? So, ahí no te caló that I was a spokesman, that I want to go speak on your behalf. If it wasn't for a person like me who's into men, you would have never gotten recognized. So before you go criticize others and you want to go discriminate against the LGBT community, Mr. Allen, you should sit back and say, well, you know what? Like other people call me El Maricón Este is the one who did the legwork for you to get recognized and get a plaque in your own hometown. And no, I'm not labeling myself. It's just that that's what they're going to label me as. You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to label myself, but other people will try to label me, and I'll just put it out like, you know, out there. But no, I am not going to label myself. That's not who I am. I do not believe that I am part of any type of organization. I am who I am, regardless. John Allen, did you take why so that's what I believe in, guys, that the discrimination needs to stop, the hate needs to stop. At the end of the day, whether you're straight, bi, lesbian, or whatever it should be respected, plain and simple. I know that a lot of people and other different platforms continue to try to dog me most of the time because of my sexual preference. At the end of the day, let me tell you something, that whatever my sexual preference is not going to define me as a person. It's not going to break me down. You could call me every name of the book, and that's not going to define me on who I am. At the end of the day, the people that are trying to make me feel or belittle me are certain individuals who have what little to offer. You have people on other platforms who were involved in narcotics, who are involved in being home wreckers, who are involved in having affairs, who are involved on the, you name it, biting people. One of them is over here, a 60-some-year-old man trying to hit on other ladies when his wife's very sick, and that's being transparent right there. And I'm very blunt how it is. You have people that are continuing to insinuate that, oh, because he's this type of person, because he is into men, they want to quickly say, well, because he's into men, he's a child molester, because that's how it started with Wanganet. And I'm sorry, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Wanganet herself has said it, because I am into men, he is a child molester, because that's what you've heard in other different platforms. They've all tried to insinuate that that's what it is, right? Um, but at the end of the day, I know where I stand, and I know what I've done wrong, and I know what I've achieved, and I know what I have done to superb myself as an individual. People don't understand that this, what you see, is a character. This does not go with me out in public. I'm not Ruby out in public. I'm not Ruby when you see me. My name is Jaime. People do call me Ruby, and I say hi out of the courtesy, but that does not define me. Yes, they all have said it. Exactly. So they want to try to belittle me because of my sexual preference, which is a sort of hate and discrimination, right? But again, it doesn't affect me. It does not break me. It only gives me the how can I explain to you, the power to continue to be me, to embrace myself, to love myself, and to accept myself with my flaws. Um, Being homosexual, being lesbian, does not define you as a person. I think it's worse having affairs, selling drugs, being involved in the narcotics, and being bisexual, whatever it is. I Wanganet ate everything on the menu. Wanganet keep those cooks on their feet. Hi, hi, man. So it's just the way I see things, guys, and people will continue to try to attack and attack and attack. I mean, you're such a great speaker. Thank you, Rose Rose. And you know what? And not only the LGBT community, a lot of people try to attack individuals that are drug addicts. I mean, I'm not the only one that lived the life of a drug addict. I remember that on another platform, they said, oh, because he was molested by his father, which is not true. He did drugs. No, that never occurred. It was my decision to do drugs. Nobody ever forced me. At the end of the day, everybody who que les gusta las malas vida, it's a decision you make. It's never about, oh, because of your friends. No, you decide what to do. Si a ti te gusta andar en el pedo, then that's on you. And so, I've had my share of drugs, something I've never denied. I've had my share of men, something I've never denied. I've also been with women in the past too. But at this time, my preference is to be with men. And again, it's my choice. That's not nobody obligating me to be, okay, you're going to be with this person, you're going to be with this person. That is what I believe in. And someone looks like Beck Jackson about laughing and stuff. She said, so that's basically what it is, guys. And again, people tend to try to define me because of my addictions, because of my sexual preference, because of my criminal record that I've had, and again, those are stepping stones in my life. Those are stones that I'm able to grow out of it. You know, um, and I know that we've had supporters here that have lived a life with a gay son or a gay daughter or whatnot, and love the way you are, Jaime Ruby. Everyone has a past. We grown and learn from, move on. But the thing is that I know certain people now in these days that it's very difficult to accept a child that turns out to be lesbian or homosexual or a trans or whatever. But the thing is that you gotta love your son or or your daughter, no matter what it is. no matter what preference they choose. That's one of the things that I got to inform you guys, because there's parents que se agüitan, like, y me agüito because my son turned out to be gay. And it happens a lot in the machismo family. You see it a lot more in the machismo family. Let me remove this real quick, guys. You see it a lot in the machismo family. And the Spanish culture, it's a lot difficult to accept it, guys. It's a lot difficult to say, you know what, I accept my son this way, I accept my daughter this way. um and I said my sister is lesbian. My family doesn't think of her as gay, and they don't think of me as straight. We are family and humans. That's right there. And that's the perfect example. At the end of the day, like I said, you have to love your family no matter what it is. You have to accept what you have. You cannot say, okay, porque esta persona is lesbian, because this person is a drug addict, they're not related to me, they're not part of my family. The thing is, that's more sad that the children has to hide because of the, and you know what, that is true. That is true. A lot of people don't understand. And Mr. Allen, I go back to you because you placed it out there, upset because of the VA Veterans Affairs supported this man who prevented more incidents that occurred. He saved lives, put it to you that way. And people like him are very ignorant. Because of his hate, it's not only about hate. Then the bully comes with it, the racism comes with it, the discrimination comes with it, and all of a sudden you form a huge war because you are an ignorant man, a man that cannot see that. You know what? Who are you to judge an individual who prefers to be with men or women? I've heard stories that you've had multiple affairs, but does that define you as a person? Can I say, you know what? That is who you are, because I know what you did at the VA's office, and that's why they got rid of you. You were harassing individuals in there. You were harassing women, but that's okay. This is what I want to break it down, guys. People think it's the worst thing on earth to be homosexual, or to be um, a drug addict, or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, it's worse having an affair, because you have a family and you have children. And that right there is the saddest thing, when you decide to go with a woman that is not your wife. Another thing that's very sad is when your wife is at home very sick, needing a kidney transplant, but yet you have time to go stalk a woman that lives by the name of Vanessa. You have more time to do that than taking care of your personal issues, which is your household. That is sad. Forget about people that are lesbians. Forget about people that are drug addicts. Forget about that, but worry about your personal life. It's like, and I'm going to elaborate a little bit more. Vanessa ended up losing her children, and they're still at it. They're still trying to find a way to belittle the woman. Why? Why continue to try to belittle someone who is going through so much in life? From false claims, from lies, from trying to plant drugs in her vehicle. Come on, guys. Not only did a lot of you all participated in a fucking parade, because that took place. A parade took place when she got arrested, when her kids were removed from her. It's sad. How can somebody go celebrate the removal of children from a mother? I don't get it. I tell my son, other son, love is love, and if he chooses to marry a man, I'm completely fine with it. But my car, household, and yard better. I have 2 sons, and therefore no excuses. But I want to know, how is that, okay? I'm gonna vote for. So it's not okay. See, and I go back and I say, okay, certain platforms want to call it a quits. Certain platforms want to say, you know what, I don't want to do it anymore. But the damage is still there. The damage is still there, what you did to this individual. And I say in general, you not only hurt her in the aspect is her children were removed, but you never took the time to even say, you know what, I'm going to message her, I'm going to contact her to apologize. I mentioned this the other day. I said, love is love. And that is true. Love is love, regardless. Okay, but we're speaking about Vanessa. This woman is not innocent, Jaime. I'm not saying she's innocent. Whatever she's done in her personal life has nothing to do with us. I mean, if she's an addict, it's her shit. If she's a hoe, it's her shit. If she's lesbian, because apparently there was rumors that she was lesbian, that's her problem. That is not my problem. I don't care. No matter if anyone, that man acts like he's driving her off the edge. He's obsessed. Come on, everybody, voting permissibly. And so, at the end of the day, um, to me, that's right. Who is innocent in this world? Nobody's innocent. Very true. You cannot throw a rock and break a window, then say, I don't participate anymore, and act like you never threw a rock. That is what I'm trying to say here, guys. Vanessa's not your problem, or instance, I can't see that word. She's no longer running for seat in office, so who cares? She's old news. Are we not perfect? Yes, but we say everyone has a past. Vanessa's business is hers. We all have a past. I have a past. I'm not going to deny it. My past is not that great either. I mean, I was a thief at one point. Yo era ratero. Me gustaba la droga. Me gustaba el pedo. I had my share of sleeping around. But again, that never defined me as a person because I never allowed it. You see, it comes down to being strong-minded. It's called blocking things that are gonna belittle you and negative things that are gonna crush you in life. And who is anybody to judge anybody? We all have our wrongs. I mean, we have running for office, so what to expect in the world? We have all made mistakes. Exactly. So, um, I go back to this LGBT community subject, and I see it again. Why would somebody continue to hate? That Colorado incident was a very sad situation. It has affected the LGBT community a lot. It has affected the surrounding communities there in Colorado. Um, and it leads a lot to discrimination. It leads a lot to racism. It leads back to mental health. And we sit back and we analyze it. What happened in Uvalde was an individual that had mental health, guys, issues. And if we continue having people that are still discriminating because of your sexual preference, because of your color, because of your religion, then where are we going to end? When is all this going to stop? When are we going to say, you know what, let's live a life where we don't go out and be so judgmental on people? And I speak for myself too, because I'm not gonna say I've never done anything wrong. I'm not gonna say I've never judged, I've never criticized, because I have. I'm always been the type of person that I accept when I do wrong and I accept my mistakes. I'm never gonna say you did it, we did it. It's all about we, because there's been a lot of people involved in this, right? Then a man makes fun of her and have dinner and lunch and car and chat with her fathers, but unlike esto, I'm late, ¿qué pasó? We're talking about a lot of subjects tonight. It's just an open book tonight. I don't know if some of y'all have a friend who is homosexual, a brother, a sister, but you know, at a certain point, you know, people that are trying to come out of the closet, I'm sure it's very difficult when people, when they feel that society is not going to accept them, when they feel their family is not going to accept them, when they feel their loved ones are not going to accept them. And it's sad because that's when we see a lot of this depression, this anxiety, this mental health issues. And it leads to suicide sometimes, guys. Yes, Leonardo, you could call in. Leonardo, you're more than welcome to call in at 956-378 3073. Or what is it, Danny? Put the number, Danny. That's how rumors start. Danny, if you could put the number, I said gays and lesbian, whoever knocked on their door, why break? It was difficult for my friend, but it's taken years for my friends to finally feel free for who they are as a person and not label. And it goes back. People need to stop labeling. People need to stop being, oh, okay, well, he's lesbian or he's gay, and because he's gay, he has to be a child molester or he has to have AIDS. Because that's basically what other platforms have said about me. And I say it about me because that's how it's happened. Because of my sexual preference, they say I'm a child molester or I have AIDS, and they speak out of their asses. They don't speak with facts. They don't speak with okay, Digital Dimwit ran my criminal background record and there was nothing. But you know why they did it? Because they were trying to belittle me as a person. Hello?
Hello?
You are on the air.
Hello, Jaime.
Hello, hello,
Is this
girl.
Jaime or is this Ruby?
It is Jaime tonight.
Okay. So what I wanted to tell you was I grew up in New York,
Okay.
and when I was 24,
Uh-huh.
my sister was 30.
Uh-huh.
My sister, one day she went to work early in the morning and she told me, when I come back home, I have to tell you something. We have to have a talk, right?
Right.
So all day, I was wondering. I was like, shit, how could she do that to me and leave?
Right.
So I'm taking care of my son because I just had a baby. And
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking, what is she going to tell me? What is she going to tell me? So finally, at the end of the night, she came home from work. She came downstairs to my apartment. And she was like, listen, I met this girl. I went on a trip with somebody that I met on a chat line. This
Right.
was years when it first started. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I need to tell you something. So I'm like, yeah. She's like, I'm a lesbian. And I'm like, that's what you're telling me? That's what I waited all day for?
Mm-hmm.
So my sister was like crying and she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I kind of always knew.
Right.
So she's like, and you never said anything? I was like, Lana, did you ever ask me if I was straight? And she's like, well, no. I said, so why would I ask you if you were gay?
Right.
So she was like, what do you think mommy and daddy are going to say? I was like, we don't talk about it. Do they talk to you about my boyfriends and about my sex life? She's like, well, no. So my parents are Puerto Rican, old school. My mother, she was scared to tell them.
Uh-huh.
When she told my parents gave her a big hug and they were like, we're so relieved because we were worried about you that you've been holding it in.
Right.
So I just wanted to share that story because that's not a typical story. Like other people in my family, they're very machismo.
Right, and machismos existe,
a lot of the uncles.
and it exists a lot in the Hispanic culture, and
It does.
even till today, you see it,
It does.
and it's hard for a person to come out because of the family itself, and that's where it sucks for a lot of people when they don't have the family supporting their choice of life.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I have 3 sons. They're all men. And if one of them were to be gay, the more sons you have, the more chances, right?
Right.
I've told all 3 of my sons, whatever you are, I don't care. I love you. It's unconditional love.
Right.
And I support you.
Hmm. Because
So
I feel, and you know what, if this was more acceptable without being labeled, without the hate, without the discrimination, I feel a lot of these depression, anxiety, all that would the rating would cut down, the
Oh,
suicide
of
numbers would go
course.
low.
People need to learn how to respect. If you don't accept something, or if you don't understand it, or if you don't want to accept that that's the way it is,
Uh-huh.
then that's your choice. But you don't have to be hurtful, and you don't have to educate people with false information
Right. Y
and
te lo
make
digo
things a
yo,
taboo.
right, because I saw, me lo mandaron, right, lo que puso John Allen, and I'll say it because it was shareable, it was public, right? And he was so upset that the the Department of Veterans Affairs, acknowledged the man from Colorado, right, that was interfering with the person who committed the shooting and stuff, and saved a lot of lives. He was upset that he was acknowledged as through the VA, but that man was acknowledged because he got mad because the man is part of the LGBT community,
Oh, but I don't understand. Why would that get him mad?
because
Then
he
he's
is
just.
homophobic. You got to understand, he is
But isn't this?
homophobic.
But isn't this a person who's Christian?
That is a person who claims he is a Christian man. He is a God, and he is, a right person with his religion and stuff. But that's what I was trying to explain to everybody, that he wants to hate on an individual who saved so many lives, but he can't remember that the person who helped him get recognized, because he did a great, exceptional job at the Walmart in Westaco. He was the first one who interfered with someone who was going to do a shooting there, right? And the
I
cops.
saw that video, and let me tell you, that was very brave of him. But no es pa tanto. He did what a lot of men would have done. And
Right.
I'm not trying to take away his credit, but come on, he's not the Pope.
Right. And so if we go back and we pictured how he got recognized and who helped him recognize, it's myself, a man who loves men. So why go hate on someone who did an exceptional job saving lives, yet the person who helped you get awarded and recognized in your own hometown is a person who loves men? So, i.e., it
Right,
wasn't an issue. There was no issue on that, right? Because you know what? I'm going to get
right.
recognized. I'm going to get the media. I'm going to get a plaque.
Because it wasn't his benefit, right?
Right. And now it's like he's being homophobic with a man who saved lives. I don't understand, why would he continue to do that?
Because it doesn't pertain to him, and he doesn't give a shit.
Right.
And it's sad, and it's pitiful.
Right.
But people like him are what keep us going back years and years.
Right.
It's taken so long to get the recognition, to get the what little bit of respect that we do get. And I say we, I'm straight, but my sister's gay. And let me tell you, I go to the parade. I wear the rainbow ring.
Wow.
That's my sister. I'm down for it.
Right. Hmm.
There's just too much hate, and people are stupid. People, personally, like I said, I'm not gay, so I can't give an opinion, but I don't think my sister or you chose this. Why would people choose to be something that they're so hated?
Right. I
Why
mean,
would people want to be picked on? Why would people want to live life
and
so
and
difficult?
also, I mean, to me, it's always about standing your ground. That's why when you have other platforms that want to call me every name of the book because of my sexual preference, it doesn't affect me, because I continue, by my day. I continue doing what I got to do. I sleep well, I eat well, as you can tell. So
Yeah,
all that doesn't break me. And I explain to you right now that I have you here. When I hit rock bottom, and when I went through this addiction where I went, thought of, committing suicide and going crazy, depression, hearing stuff that wasn't there. That's when I hit rock bottom, and I had to break myself in order to love myself. And now that all these hates is out there, discriminations are going on, it doesn't break me. It doesn't hurt me.
that's because you've gotten strong.
Right.
Well, I don't know how other people feel, but when I hear other people in platforms, and I watch them all,
Uh huh.
I just sometimes I have to speak up.
Right.
When I hear people talking about the N word or making fun of gay people, it's sure they speak for themselves.
Right.
It just shows me like, wow, there's still people like
And
that. Like
and,
I'm
and, and you see, and you nailed it right there, because I don't understand how there's other platforms that are criticizing the LGBT community or gay people, yet most of those followers either have a sister, a friend, a loved one, a daughter,
No,
or
not that. I don't even think they're criticizing the community. They're going after you, but not. They don't realize how silly they sound.
well, okay, let's just
But
put it to you this way.
they
They're calling me out as a person because of my sexual
right,
preference.
and then it sound like what you are is a bad thing, and they don't even realize that themselves.
Right. So if you sit back and and analyze that, a lot of these individuals that are over there participating in that either have a friend or a loved one or a sister that is or homosexual, whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't imagine if their loved ones would hear what they're saying about myself or
Exactly.
others, how would they feel?
Exactly.
You know, and to this point, I'm glad and I'm happy that I'm a very strong minded person. But if it was anybody else, I'm sure they probably would have done something crazy to themselves.
I was just gonna say I give you credit because it seems like what people are trying to do to you is break you down again, pushing and pushing and pushing. And it's good that you're pushing. It's good that you're pushing back to a point, but I don't think the fighting back and forth is not. It's not.
It's not a very
I don't.
healthy thing, to be
It's
honest. It's not a very
it's
health.
not.
It's not healthy
No,
for anyone. And I agree.
no.
And I agree
And
with
it's
you.
not productive. It's not going to do anything productive. It's not going to change the world or the face of YouTube.
Hmm.
But you have other skits. Like you're a funny guy. You're very charismatic. You capture people because my son was down the hall and he's like, that Heine. You're on my phone. I'm like, oh my god, your voice and the way you talk, you don't need to be in a bochincha to have a show.
Right, right, right. No, and I agree. And you know what? I will take every criticism that you have upon me as and how can I explain to you with respect? I'm not gonna get upset, and you have every right to call me and tell me, you know what? You could do this different and you could improve your show this way and maybe less of the fighting and less of that. It's great. I love to hear from you all because you are the ones that have me here having a show. You know what I mean? So your
Right.
criticism is perfectly fine with me.
And you have the freedom to have your own show, and I have the freedom to not watch it. But
Correct.
I choose to watch it. I choose to watch it, but I'm not gonna watch it and then complain that I lost sleep because you disturbed me. If something you say bothers me, click, I change it. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying?
Correct.
But my skin is not that thin.
Right.
They're just birds.
Right.
But anyway, I'm gonna let you go
Okay.
because I
Thank
want to
you.
hear
I
the rest of
appreciate
the
it.
show.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
bye
Thank
bye.
you. We should have a show, talk about show about adoption. Even you're very right about that. I know that you've been very open about, you being adopted as an individual, and we've had messages you and I regarding to that, and it's very difficult, when you go through that. I'm waiting for let's watch out, everyone. I've been to the LA, and it was an amazing thing. You take constructive criticism very real. It's part of the show, guys. If you want to be behind a camera, you're gonna have to accept criticism, no matter what people say. Constructive criticism is the key. Yeah. And like I said, if people feel okay, we have somebody that's calling in. Hello, hello.
Hey, what's up? It's
What's up?
Victor.
What's up?
Yeah, I know it's Victor. I just wanted to talk about like that whole thing. I wanted to do a video on it, but I'm
It's
not a
Digital
member.
Dimwit here with us, my daddy.
That's what one of the D stands for, I guess.
Okay, what's up?
Uh, no, about the whole LGBTQ. I mean, I kind of touched on it a little bit in my last video that I did have a friend who took his life, and it's because he was having a hard time with the acceptance of it. He came from a real strict religious family. He came from a family that really wouldn't support that. So it was hard because all his friends, all of us, we accepted him. So he was out and, everything with us, like in public. But then when he would go home, he would have to suppress that and become someone else. And he couldn't take
Right.
it anymore. So he ended up, taking his life um,
Wow.
real, real early. I mean, we were like 19 at the time. And that was something that all of us, like, like it hit all of us. Like I was talking about it on my live
Right,
few days ago.
and this hate and discrimination and accepting it's very hard, even in different household. I mean, you see it in the Hispanic culture, but you see it in other areas, and I guess because we live in the valley, and in smaller areas it's harder to accept than in bigger cities where you see more of a, accepted from it, and you see more of the different type of how can I explain it to you, different type of, you know people out there, that it's different. Or what do you think about that?
No, exactly. I mean, it's a huge culture thing. Different cultures are more accepting. Different cultures are not. Like our Hispanic culture.
Right.
But I mean, I have a family member that's a member. I have a nephew that's a member who's actually overseas fighting right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a proud member. He's out. Like everyone, in his, in the barracks know about him and everything, and they accept him. And it's taken a while for the military to become more acceptance of this, but I mean, it's there.
So,
And
and now even the military is more acceptable of it.
yeah,
And going back, I mean, I think it falls también parents being educated, or maybe having some more resources where it would help them to be able to accept their loved ones with however they come in. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think it's just that some parents have an expectations of what they want their kids to be. Some parents want their kids to be the football star, the top dog at school that all the women want. There's some parents that want their daughter to be a housemaker and just have grandchildren and stuff, but there's a lot of people that aren't like that, and when they don't meet those expectations because like, oh well, you're going to be married to someone that's the same sex, it kind of destroys everything the parents wanted. But it's not the parents' life, it's the kid's life.
Right. And so I asked you a question: if you were to be a father of someone who is homosexual, would you accept it yourself?
No, of course. And I've already talked to my daughter about these things. Like she's aware of homosexual sexuality. She's aware of bisexuality. Like she's able to identify it. She knows it. She knows there's nothing wrong with it. Some of the people she watches on YouTube that she looks up to happen to be members that are gay or bisexual. We watch TV shows where the characters happen to be that. It's just we're not watching it for those characters. We're watching it because of the story,
So
the overall thing.
any encouragement? I know we might have a couple of parents here that might be struggling with accepting their child, for their sexual preference. Any type of encouragement, any type of words you would like to share with them?
Yeah, as a parent, you're supposed to teach your children, loving, and you're supposed to teach them to love. You're supposed to teach them how to care. As long as they know how to do that, it shouldn't matter who they love, who they care for. You success, your success as a parent by just showing them those things, and you can't be mad just because they're not things that you love and care about. You're there to love your kid. You're there to support your kid. You're supposed to be supporting your kid. You're not supposed to turn them away just because they do one thing that disappoints you.
Right. And so, you know, I had heard different stories about the individual that caused the shooting and the loss of a lot of children there in Uvalde, that he had issues with his sexual preference, right?
I've heard that too.
I
I
think
don't know
that
if
I
it's
think
been
there was
proven, but that
pictures
was
there
the
was pictures circulating around where he was dressed with a skirt, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe that had to, cause some sort of mental issue in his head where, it's part of the root of, growing up and stuff like that, because I believe the grandparents raised them, and,
and it
and
could be all about him wanting to have fulfilled a certain image that was expected of him. Like he might have been having trouble with his sexuality. He might have been, gay, but he might not have wanted to be, and he might have that idea that like, oh, I need to be a man. Like I'm going to be a man. You know how they say pray the gay away, or they send
right,
you to like stuff like that. Well, maybe he thought like, oh, well, maybe if I, carry guns, or what if I do something, horrible, they're going to talk about that. They're not going to talk about my sexuality. They're not going to think about my sexuality because they're going to be focused on me doing these actions. So that could be what pushes people to do these things.
Right. And if he grew up in a school where that wasn't acceptable, or where there was a lot of bullying because of how his appearance was, or maybe of his sexual preference, right? Then it led to a lot of mental issues where it causes either depression, anxiety, suicide, or cause you to hurt other people. And we see
Yeah.
that a lot more often.
Yes, because you're having to force yourself to live double lives, just like my friend did with, when he was on his own or with friends, he was one completely person, his true self. But then when he had to hide his true self, he had to live a whole different life. And at a young age, when your mind's still developing, that weighs a lot on you and that hits you hard. And that's what causes people to have these snaps, to have these breaks, to lose these battles with life, to do those kinds of things.
Right. And I've noticed that a lot of these individuals who have caused, shootings like that, a lot of them have suffered from mental health.
hmm I
And,
mean, yeah, obviously it's mental health. Like, no sane person will go into a school, a church, or anything and just start shooting. Like, there has to be something wrong with them.
right. But if we see it, most of them have some sort of like a homophobic experience in their lives. And maybe that is the root of accepting a person, whether a person is white, black, green, or yellow, lesbian, straight, or whatever it is, even if you're an Asian, Hispanic, or whatever it is, I think it falls down to accepting someone.
No, and I agree with that.
And it doesn't matter if you have a disability, whatever it is, it's about accepting it because it leads to a lot of other things.
No, it doesn't. It also comes down to, I'm not going after people who are older, but it's just an older generation that has trouble accepting this. Like, the current older generation, like, sorry, I'm not going after anybody, but the current older generation has a problem with people who are gay. The
Hmm.
generation before that had problem with people who were black.
It's like a lot of
People
people
before
were
that had problems with,
criticizing.
women.
Right.
It's just
A
a
lot of
way
people
of evolution, social evolution.
a lot of people are criticizing Dwayne Wade when his son was doing, I believe he did the transgender, correct?
Yes,
And a lot of people were criticizing him as, why is he allowing his son to do this? Why is he supporting his son? At the end of the day, he accepted his son for whatever transition he was doing. For whatever reason, he accepted his son because he loves his son, regardless.
exactly.
And that speaks a lot because I believe he became a spokesman. He became part of the LGBT community, and it speaks a lot as a person about his values, his morals, his principles, because he was able to accept it and do a transition and be a supporting cast to his son, or now is a female. And that speaks a lot. We have another NBA player, Magic Johnson. His son turned out to be gay, and he also did the transition to being a female. So it was a lot easier. I believe Jennifer Lopez, if I'm not mistaken, one of her kids is, I believe, is like that.
Yeah,
It is lesbian or gay, I believe.
yeah,
Uh,
and they're all supporting. I
and
mean,
they're all supporting. Madonna had the same incident, correct?
yes, also Pink, the singer Pink, she has, a trans child.
And I believe Angeline Jolie has one too, correct?
Yeah, like it's the new landscape. Like, it's becoming more acceptable for that. So kids or people who are young are still okay with coming out now. I still think that maybe it might be too young for people to have transgender surgery, like if they're under 18 and stuff, because mind's still developing, body's still developing with
Mm-hmm.
hormones, testosterone. But if they dedicate their whole life to that, and once they're 18, maybe 21, like, okay, yeah, that's cool with the surgery. Like, I don't have any issue with people who are trans.
Right. So, there's a lot of celebrities who have children that are homosexuals or transgenders, and it's more acceptable. And it's something that we should look as role models, because if they're able to accept it, them being in the spotlight with TMZ or the media, and criticizing them, but they're able to transition with their loved one to accept what they have, it speaks a lot about them.
Yeah.
and Cher, they said Cher has a daughter. Oh, Cher has a son too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them out there, and hopefully, with the next generation, with this being so accepted to where it's not even at this point, it's not even acceptance, it's the norm now.
It's part of life.
Yeah, now.
Regardless, it's part of life. You see it more often. You see it at a younger age now,
Yeah.
and it's acceptable. Like for instance, myself, I never came out of the closet. I never had that issue. Like, oh, I got to tell my mama I like men, or I got to tell my family, or no, they never asked, and I never told them. At the end of the day, they know, but
Hmm.
they don't get involved in my personal life, as in like, you know, okay, well, why are you into men? They do give me the advice, okay, this person's not good for you, don't associate with this person, blah blah blah. But they don't say, okay, well, you are this, or because you like gays, we don't like you, or we hate you. Any of that. It's just the advices on who I should date and who I should not be involved with, and basically that's it. Elton John was gay too. He was real famous. So
Yeah, and then also by teaching that to kids, that hey, there you could be the way you want, but there's going to be a group of people who hate you for it. That just kind of has them grow hatred towards people who are against them, and then in the end, everyone's just angry at each other. Everyone's going to war with each other
I have a question for
over
you.
someone's morals.
I'm not too sure, but uh, is it implied in public schools already? Do you know if they're educating the students regarding to the transgenders and the LGBT community? Do you see it in the history book? Is it in the history book or not?
I mean, it's been a while since I've been in school, but
Parents that are here, are your children getting educated at schools about the LGBT community, the transgenders? Yes, yeah, they teach it. They teach it.
no,
So
that's good because when I was in school, there was a very high percentage of students that were bi or gay or lesbian, and it was okay with everyone. There was teachers who were also members, so there was like a real open like discussion about it. Like everyone was okay with it. There wasn't anyone that had issues. One of my prom dates, because me being me, I had a couple of prom dates. I went to different proms, but one of my prom dates was bisexual, and
hmm
now she has her female partner. Now they live in like one of the nicest places in the country, and uh they educate kids. Like
I,
they go
I
on
I
tours, they
I
go walking and
I have
stuff.
a question for you. I know people are saying it could confuse a child, and some school districts they do the new proper term confuses me badly. So there is a proper term. My nephew is junior high, and he is gay, and they dress as like a girl, and they don't tell him nothing. My fourth grade teacher was a drag queen. He was my favorite. So you see, the thing is, at what age do you think it's right to educate a child, confuse them? How, Isabel? I think maybe around sixth to seventh grade. You think it would be a great to start educating them, or do you think a younger age?
I think middle school is perfect. I mean, if middle school is when they give you, the sex ed talk and they could cover those kinds of topics that they do in those talks, I think just talking about a sexuality is fine.
hmm
I mean,
Well, one of the school
it's always
districts
good to
here in
have
the
the
valley
same.
that is doesn't really get recognized in the media, and I'm so um like not disappointed, you could say that, like Channel 5, Telemundo, Channel 4, that are always covering stories about shooting and crimes and stuff, but why haven't they take the time to go cover Roma ISD gay pride parade?
Because that's the media. They need to be aware of their surroundings. They know the Hispanic culture isn't too favorable of that, so they don't want to tank their ratings. They
Why
want to
not
get people upset with them.
even the monitor? And you know what, this is so weird. The school district has it as gay pride support. Roma
Hmm.
ISD has a parade where all the school district is involved, and that speaks a lot about that school district because they're educating their students, and not only educating them, but they're teaching about, the no discrimination, no more bullying, no more hate, and they're showing how to come together as a family, and supporting cast is there. And that's a perfect district to even put your children in. People say, oh, it's Roma ISD, but right there it speaks a lot.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in the next couple of years we'll see more school districts doing that. But it's if the media is failing on reporting that stuff, maybe someone independent like you could go do a live there, talk to students, talk to administrators, and kind of dedicate a whole show to that. And then that's how people will become more aware of it.
And the thing is that I did my own research, and this was a couple of months ago, because I do have another platform, and I advocate a lot for children, and I advocate for different school districts, parents as well. So I educated myself a little bit, and I was trying to find a school district that really puts it on the map, and it was Roma ISD, the only school district in the 956 that has a gay pride support for the entire Roma ISD school district, where the parents participate, where the students participate, teachers, counselors. There's participation from the superintendent, and it's, they do it. I believe, what? As a matter of fact, they do it around this time, November, December. That's when they do it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and like I don't know any numbers. I didn't do any
They,
research, but based on that, like I bet the kids in that school who are members of the community probably feel a lot safer to be themselves. They feel a lot safer to go out and speak about things, and that's just gonna, when they're adults, it's gonna follow with them, and they're gonna be, strong and happy to talk about their sexuality.
as a matter of fact, I'm searching it up right here, and it's on Facebook right here. Save the date to support Roma ISD Gay Pride Parade. They have it out there.
Yeah, I mean, they're proud of it.
And actually, it's May 20th. And it says here, save the date to support Roma High School Gay Straight Alliance Club in their first ever Pride Fest, which was last year they did it. That was and it's a Pride Fest, and it's right here. There's a receipt. Roma ISD. I'm showing it to everyone. Roma ISD is the only school district that does it here in the Valley. I don't know if there's other school districts in San Antonio that do it, bigger towns and stuff, but it speaks a lot about this school district in general, because they're trying to do the right thing, I believe, for the students, for the school district itself.
Yeah,
20
trying to make the kids feel safe, trying to create a good environment for the kids, and to let the kids know that they don't have to hide who they are.
Right, and man, I speak highly about that school district because they are doing the right thing for it, for the school district. And it says Roma Pride Parade returns they're having it this year again. So every year they've been doing this. Last year, this is the second year, and it speaks a lot about Roma ISD, the school district. I wish there was more school districts that were more acceptable, where it brings unity within the students, within the school district, and maybe like that the bullying would not be the same. The discrimination, the fighting, and all that stuff would be different within the school district. I think it would show more of the student body uniting, and the support, where there's the teacher and the parent. There's always a gap, and I think by doing that, the gap shrinks itself, where there's more of communication with the teacher and the student, and there's more acceptance around the community.
Yeah, and that just creates a better environment, and that results in a better person.
Okay, Marlene put, I'm holding my tongue. I think I would be judged for the way I see things when it comes to kids and gender questions. Marlene, you could say it. I mean, everybody should respect your personal beliefs. Everybody should respect how you see things, and I respect it. I have no issue, however you want to put it out there. And I expect everyone to respect Marlene's comments. However she expresses herself, it's her belief, it's how she feels, and it's something that we need to respect.
Definitely, I'll sign off in case someone else wants to call, or if Marlene wants to call. Like, I'd like to hear
Marlene,
it
you
too.
could call. I don't have an issue. You got my support. Thank
All
you,
right, well, I'll
Digital.
talk to y'all later.
Okay, bye bye. So, The thing is, guys, that it's more common. We see it more common, but again, in school districts, is why is everyone bringing up Beto? Did I miss something? I don't know what's going on. Maybe somebody wants to run for Senate or governor on another platform. I don't know. Maybe I don't know for what I know. All right, one last time, Ruby. I'm out. All right, one last time, Ruby. I'm out. Good night, San Manuel. See you tomorrow. Hasta mañana. Marlene, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. It would be a crazy if world if we all thought the same. Exactamente. Everybody has their own mind. Everybody sees things differently than what you and I, Marlene, I hear you. Hello, Jaime. Hello, Yolanda. So, Marlene, you if you don't want to call, that's fine. Message it to me, and we could have a private discussion, you and I. No hay ningún problema, and you could vent out, you know, and we take it from there. But again, it's important, people, that we understand that within our school districts, I wish there was more educating our students. People need to take a blueprint from Roma ISD and apply it within their school district one way or another, to bring unity and to bring a supporting system where you see more of a as accepting within themselves, guys, and that's something that, like I said, I covered that on my other platform. I did my research, and it's a movement that I want to be able to do on my other platform, to be able to bring this kind type of awareness to the school districts. Like I said, I do applaud Roma ISD for this program that they implied within the school district. It speaks numbers of them. I would rather have myself speak to my kids about this than the school district. And vote for Frog. I accept that. It's a parent also has to play a big factor, a big role on educating their child. And if there's no involvement by the parent, then there's a lot of issues there. But guys, we've been here for about an hour. I want to thank everybody that was here. I want to thank everybody for their opinion, for the callers they called in, for the super chat that we have there, that they sent me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Tomorrow we have another great show. We have comedy tomorrow. Yes, we should all respect each other. Thank you for that, Jaime. Some subjects I think are on fine line, so I know probably better don't because of my words. I understand, Marlene. But guys, I will see you all tomorrow. Dios me los bendiga. Hasta mañana. Love you guys.